Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to the Average Joe Hobby Show. I'm your humble host, the Average Joe. Let's learn and have fun together. With that said, let's begin. Welcome back to the Average Joe Hobby Show. Today, I'm going to work on the Chaos Knight's final facial features and the glowing parts from his smokestack and glasses and lenses and things like that. So to begin with, let's start with some CARROBURG Crimson again to highlight certain details around his face. But specifically, I'll add some medium to soften it, because this is a much more subtle detail in certain parts of his flesh. By mediuming the CARROBURG Crimson, it looks much thinner, as you can see. Gotta get the camera to focus. So, as I was saying, the very medium down CARROBURG Crimson still gives allows the coloration of the flesh to show through, but makes it look like the wound, like when you have an open wound, for example, it's the very dry hand, so I break out easily. You can actually see the similarity between my finger and the wound, because the flesh around the open part is actually a little redder than it should be. So it's very, very accurate, you know. I try. And that is the CARROBURG Crimson applied for his skin. It's the last general detail for that flesh area. Try to make all the open wounds look a little more raw, a little more violent. Now, one of the biggest problems with custom models like this is that I might have a great idea of putting something together, but when I get to painting it, I'm not sure what to do next. So the next color I wanted to use was some PLAGUEBEARER flesh again, but then I couldn't figure out where to put it on this guy, so I figured I'd put it in a few specific areas that specifically relate to, like, where I molded it wrong, like right here in this crack right here, along maybe some of the metal pipes, around the flesh areas here, the pipes there. But like before, I'll also mix some medium into it to really soften it. I don't want it to be too strong. Some other areas I'm going to apply it are the main joints right here, in his legs, to try to, like, the areas where it's squished a bit more, And apply it very firmly around all this back area here. There's a point to that, you'll see it eventually. A small line of it around his face, into the recesses. Good, makes it a little extra slimy. Like it. Now, to finish the basic skin detail, I'm going to take DEEPKIN flesh again and apply it in certain specific areas. I'm not going to use medium for this because this is a final highlight and I want it to be a bit sharper. Try to make the skin look a bit more raised and bruised. Can the camera get it? The camera cannot get it. Technical difficulties, give me a moment. Anyway, as I was saying, the detail goes along the wound part here to try to emphasize where the skin is coming up a bit more. Just details like that. This is a guy who has not skipped leg day. Get some of these lines in the back. Now the next step is a small one, but it's an important one, and I'm going to use ULTHUAN Gray to fill in the symbols on his leg here, which will then get some white over it, and I'll then apply different colors over it again for a specific effect later. Let's just get a nice thin point on this large brush, and just work it into the recesses nice and slowly. I have a fine point. Go through each arrow first, then to the center. It's okay if I get a little overlap on the edges, because I plan on adjusting that as well. Now for the last step before the main color will be a light application of white scar to the eye parts I just did, as well as to his glass compartment right over here. Just barely there, you know? Just go around the edges, make sure it's nice and highlighted, kind of help with the glow effect. And to finish it off, a little bit across his top right here. I'm going to apply Warp Lightning to all that I just did, as well as to his smokestack. So let's do this. Get a little extra layer here, make it nice and dark. Now for the smokestack. I've been waiting for this part. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you look at this face?
uWu?
The next color I'm going to do is Warpstone Glow. I'll add a small amount of medium into it to smooth it out, and I'll apply it along the very fine edges of the various green parts I previously did with Warp Lightning. Start with this leg symbol. Just gonna wipe it gently across the eye part, kind of a glaze, just try to shine it out a bit. Now for the little glass bubble, just carefully go over it, try to smooth it out. It's gonna get a the next step, I will apply over all that green this color, POXWALKER. Now this is a green also, but it's a very different shade of green. So it's going to be very noticeably different when I apply it. Because those first two colors were just kind of about a general depth of layer or something, I guess. But this green color will go over all of that, kind of darken it, and allow the previous color to go back on to be much more noticeable and brighter. And that's the next step after this. And that is the POXWALKER Shade Wash for the colorful green parts. Now for the next step in the green tutorial on the Custom Chaos Knight, I shall be applying a very small amount of MOOT GREEN to the glass lenses and to the eyepieces and to the flames. See, I might also use this color to highlight the edges. I'm just going to apply a little bit onto the eye and see how it looks. Very nice. Have the glass bubble right in the middle. Now this next step is going to be good old-fashioned NULN oil, which is pretty much the duct tape of paints. I'm going to apply it to the eyepieces, the lenses, and maybe the fire. It's subtle, but it helps kind of darken it down a bit, make it a bit wetter, a bit shinier. So for the next step of the green color pattern that I'm applying will be some MOOT GREEN again, actually, this time slightly mediumed, and I'll apply it like just kind of like on the rims around the little eyeballs and eye lenses that are green, nothing else. There we go, that's much closer, much better quality. Just checking the quality. Nice and visible. Okay, that's much better. Careful application around the ridges of this. Let's go all the way around. It's an unbroken line. Maybe shade it in a bit more and a bit out. I painted a lime. So that is the final application of the MOOT GREEN for this model itself. Applied a final amount to this eye here, the one here, the glass bubble, the tattoo, and the flames. Now the next step will actually be something very specific. I'm going to take this color, AVERLAND Sun, and paint small triangles on the leg green parts, and this will help create a kind of an eyeball pupil effect. I'm going to draw a very curvy triangle down the center. First spot there, second spot there. Let's move it in very slowly, build it up over time. Now for the next step, I'm going to apply moon dust to the eyepieces and to the flames. Now very carefully, very gently, I'm just going to tap it, do little dots. The highest points I can find. Anything that stands out too much. And there it is, a little bit of moon dust on the flames. The next step will actually be only on the legs, entirely just those two spots. I'll be using this paint, the contrast Black Templar, because it'll flow very smoothly over the very center of the yellow, and will help finally create that pupil look in the eye. Now, one of the last two steps will be this color, KRAKEN Skin, which I will also dot into the eyes like I did with the yellow, and a little bit on the glass bubble, and maybe a little bit on the flame. And just like before, I'm going to just carefully tap few little green spots into the eye. Now instead of dotting, I'm just going to apply a few specific lines along the absolute edges of where I expect there to be light shining. Now, for the very last step, I'm going to take White Scar and apply only 3 little dots in 3 specific areas to help create the most shine effect. The tiniest of dots will go right at the top of the pupil. Right there. And it's an eyeball. And the last final dot will go right in the center of the lens bubble. And each of the other points. Very nice. Looks like almost like a vector aiming kind of thing. And there you have it, dear viewers. The green I wanted to apply is done. The symbols on his legs to make the little eyeballs, the tattoo, the glass bubble on his top, and his flames. They really work well with the color pattern, the armor, the skin, everything. It stands up very well, very nicely, without making the model too busy looking. I hope you enjoyed this video or stream. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you have not done so already. I really appreciate the support. Please let me know what kind of endeavor, craft, or hobby you're working on in the comments down below. I'll see you next time.